what do you say we welcome our next guest? Ladies and gentlemen, this man is the advocate for the one who put the one in 22 and 1, and the man who will advocate for the conqueror this Sunday at Summerslam. You think he'll like that?
I think you're doing good. Keep going.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Heyman. There he is. Look at this guy. He looks like $1 million. Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman. They're very excited to see Paul Heyman. You know how to use one of these? You worked one of these before? There he is. Paul Heyman. Oh, boy. I don't like that he got a bigger pop than me. My show.
Glory, glory, Brock Lesnar!
Yeah.
Glory, glory, Brock Lesnar!
Okay.
Glory, glory.
What?
Brock Lesnar marches on!
He did it in person! He did it in person! Give it up for Paul Heyman. He did it in person. Can you believe it? Have you ever seen anything so exciting in your life? Only on Sam Roberts Show or Monday Night Raw.
It's the first song
right.
I've sang in public since my bar mitzvah, and we already have 1 million hits on YouTube.
Incredible! Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman, I'm glad that you started
That's
with...
not
okay.
how you introduce me. Ladies and gentlemen,
I did that!
my name
Oh boy, it's one of these.
is Paul Heyman.
He's done it before.
Come here a minute. Come here.
Paul,
Sit right here. You
some
sit
lady
with
being
Sam.
ushered onto stage.
I belong in the Cesaro section.
What? Okay. Of all the cheap pops, I don't believe Paul Heyman is now sitting down in the audience.
He does what he
This
wants.
is absurd.
No, I'm not in the audience. I am where I rightfully belong, where good taste is demonstrated in the Cesaro section.
What about all the great taste up on stage? There's great taste up here.
There is. Hold on. There is.
Yes.
Because if for no other reason, Katie
How dare you?
is on the Today Show.
How dare you? People know that by now, Paul. People know that. They've seen it on YouTube.
And
They're excited.
you have a question for me?
I do. I'm glad that you started with that song. Because when I was watching you perform, the song that Paul Heyman just performed, he also performed live. What are you doing with Katie? You trying to make this more intimate?
All I can do in a PG environment at the moment.
That's fair. That's fair. I get
For
it.
those of you looking for the Disney-fied version of sports entertainment, this is the portion of the show where you take the children outside.
I'm glad that you sang that song, though, because what was going through, we've all performed in front of live audiences before, for instance, this. But all that was going on in my head, when you're on Monday Night Raw and you're in a ring and you know there's millions of people watching, there's tens of thousands of people in the audience, and you're singing this song, if halfway through that song, that crowd is not responding, that would be the most douche-chill-inducing feeling of bombing. Does that ever concern you?
No.
It doesn't. Were you sure that was going to work?
Yes.
You were.
You know why?
Why?
Because my name
Right.
is
Right.
Paul Heyman.
Right. No, you're right. Silly question on my part, I guess. But there was, when you go, was it your idea to sing the song? I would assume it was.
Here's a little scoop for you.
Tell me.
You notice how a lot of people's promos sound alike?
That's right.
Notice how mine don't?
That's right.
I write my own stuff.
Right. And they love your own stuff, Paul Heyman.
Well, I also have a 900-pound gorilla backing up my desire to write my own stuff.
So you're telling me that Brock Lesnar's threatened to beat up the people who run WWE if you don't get to write?
Do you honestly believe that Brock ever even really needs to threaten?
He doesn't, does he?
Brock in and of himself is a threat.
Well, let me ask you this.
I know what it is.
What is it?
A question.
That's right. That's exactly right. We talked about it on the top of the show. But Brock Lesnar has been booed quite a bit. Recently, he's been getting a lot of cheers. And I have to ask you this. Is it a why? Tell me why.
Why does he build up his questions? Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Ask!
I'm going to.
Get to the point, Sam.
There needs content.
He has somewhere to be later.
I'm
Get
the
to the
son
point.
of a personal injury attorney from the Bronx.
Yeah.
Anybody here from the Bronx? Big up to the boogie. And all I learned in life is ask the question straight, get a straight answer. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Here it comes.
Right.
Here comes the question. I got a question for you. You know, I've been thinking about this. Here we go. What's the question?
You could have just asked me what the question was.
What's the
sure
question?
took a long time for. Listen. Why is
Now I'm being ordered to listen.
Why is the Undertaker?
I can only answer the question if I listen to the question. Why aren't you asking these questions? She's from the Today Show.
Katie Linendoll, ask him why the Undertaker keeps kicking Brock Lesnar in the balls.
That's such a stupid question.
But why does he keep doing that?
Could you ask me a question?
I apologize in advance for
Why
that.
does he keep doing it? Why would the Undertaker low blow Brock Lesnar constantly? You won't even answer. That's absurd.
Let me ask you a question, Paul.
Yes, ma'am.
I actually very much enjoyed your interview with CBS Sports. You said you're having the best time of
what
your
a
entire
kiss
life
ass.
right now.
Yes.
Because you get to be the advocate, not a manager.
Right.
An advocate.
Correct.
For Brock Lesnar.
Yes.
Is this truly the best time looking back through everything from ECW to when you were selling stuff when you were 11 years old, right now?
Yeah,
the moment.
it is for several reasons. Number one, because I never look back. Ever. Because it doesn't make any sense to look back, because even if I had regrets, which I don't, I'm not like Frank Sinatra, regrets. I had a few, I have absolutely no regrets, because it got me to where I am. Well, not at this moment, because I'm sitting next to Sam, but, in general.
It's not that funny.
Actually, I thought it was hysterical.
I'm sure you did.
But I never look back. So I don't reminisce. I don't have time to reminisce because I have so much more in my life that I want to accomplish. I'm having the time of my life because when I'm working with my best friend in the world, Brock Lesnar. I get to advocate and extol the virtues of someone whom I genuinely, legitimately, authentically believe in. Because he is the most legitimate athlete in the history of WWE. There's no one like Brock. He is a once-in-a-lifetime athlete. And writing my stuff's real easy because I just write what I believe in. I mean, everything I say about him, I truly, truly, truly believe. So I'm having a blast because I'm enjoying what I'm doing because I get to work with Brock. And number two, because
there's a fruit fly in here. He's got too much class to hit it.
Yes, I'm all right now, but yesterday was really rough, let me tell you. So it's the time of my life. And by the way, that was a really, really good question.
My God.
Do I get a follow-up?
Yeah,
This
please,
is absurd.
go right ahead.
This has gotten to the point where it's out of control.
Shut up, Sam. So the timeline
You got it.
with Brock, though, I mean, even you have said there's only so much time he has left before he leaves and becomes a farmer full-time. Does that make you nervous? And you're always looking ahead, like you just said. Where do you look next?
Where I look next? NXT.
Oh, that's why they call it that.
In particular, give me 3 names that really excite you on the NXT roster.
NXT.
Three guys.
But those are.
Or girls.
Why just guys? And
I said girls.
The entire roster. I did this, for those of you who listened, who follow MMA, I did a radio show with Ariel Helwani a few years ago. And he asked me, just about the youth movement that I've always advocated for. And I said that if I were Hank Steinbrenner, and I fired Brian Cashman and I put Paul Heyman in charge of the New York Yankees, and they would be a much better team if Paul Heyman was in charge of the New York Yankees. My first move would be to get rid of Derek Jeter, as unpopular as that would have been a few years ago, and get rid of A-Rod, which would have been very popular a few years ago. And the reason was because A-Rod wasn't going to, he hit 600 home runs, but he won't hit 600 more. And my reasoning was, go get a bunch of 21 and 22 and 23-year-olds for the Yankees, spend 5 years building the team. You'll have a bunch of 27 and 28-year-olds as your team. You'll have 10 years of a dynasty. So today, if I'm looking at the NXT roster, I don't want to pick one person or one guy, one girl, two guys, two girls. I don't want to pick that. Give me the whole roster. Give me the whole NXT roster. Now, I have the entire future of sports entertainment. I'm talking.
I told you about the Q&A thing later, you know.
Shh. Don't interrupt the man with the microphone.
Doesn't feel so good when he does it to you, huh? Are you laughing idiots?
You really are a funny guy. So I don't want to limit myself. Why would I ever limit myself to I want this one. You know who I want? And I'll tell you this. Here's something very funny, and I'm not kissing his tuchus because he happens to be here today. I would actually, first round draft pick, I'd take Corey Graves. And to back that up, by the way, can we lower this just a bit? Because I'm popping all my peas.
Just lower it a little bit in your hand. Teaching Paul Heyman mic technique, prime time, Sam Roberts.
Some people need to keep it up this high, Sam.
I get that.
I don't conform to family entertainment. I warned you at the top. The reason why is because Corey doesn't have to worry about getting one person over. Corey gets the whole roster over. And that's the key. He is the best color commentator in the game today, and I don't limit that to WWE or NXT. Corey Graves is the Joe Rogan of WWE.
Wow.
And the job that he's doing is so phenomenal that sooner than later, we're going to say that Joe Rogan is the Corey Graves of UFC.
With that said, could we ever see Paul Heyman fill the role of, say, a William Regal on NXT?
I wouldn't. I'm so comfortable in the position that I'm in right now.
Timeline, moving forward.
I don't know. I'm not trying to avoid your question. I'm trying to just in an honest answer. I don't know what the future holds for his role, for that role, for the landscape of where the business is going to be. It's no secret Brock has a few more years left, and I hope to spend them with him. So looking forward right now, I'm looking at Brock's run. And once we get to the end of that run, then these will be the hard decisions that I'll have to make as to, okay, what really do I want to do? Will it be, I'm not trying to suggest, hey, you know what, I'm going to ride off into the sunset with Brock, but I can't tell you that I won't either. It's just, to me, he's so special. He's so unique. He's so once ever. And to be attached at his hip and to have my legacy partially defined by what we do together now. I mean, if I walk down the streets of New York City, it used to be always, yo, EC-Dub, man, hey. And now I get as many people, just going, Brock Lesnar. So, it's and before that it was always, hey, man, where's the telephone? So I've had many different lives that I've been fortunate enough to live. How you doing?
Good.
All right. So, to have such a legacy defined with Brock Lesnar, who has a really unique legacy as well, I don't know what happens when he decides that's enough.
Let's go back to The Undertaker. Obviously, Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker at SummerSlam. But this started even before WrestleMania. And we never really figured out what the problem was.
Is this the kick in the balls question?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'll get back to that towards the end of the interview. Hopefully you will have forgotten by then. But what was their altercation when Brock Lesnar was still with UFC? And he and The Undertaker had an altercation, something after one of his fights. It seemed very real. It did not seem pro wrestling. Brock Lesnar was not a pro wrestler at the time. What was that altercation?
Why was The Undertaker in the front row for a Brock Lesnar fight?
I don't know.
Once Brock Lesnar left WWE, you didn't see Brock Lesnar go buy a bunch of tickets to WWE to sit in the front row, see an Undertaker match, did you?
He was not
Point
interested.
made.
That's right. And he's still not interested.
No.
Right.
But what was The Undertaker do? What was it about? I don't understand.
About The Undertaker being there.
Did Brock have a problem with Undertaker being there?
Yes.
He did.
Yes.
He did. In
Of course
real
he
life.
did.
Yeah.
'Cause he's a dark cloud. He's a sword of Damocles. He's a curse.
Why is that? I thought everybody loved The Undertaker.
How did Brock do on that night?
That night at the UFC?
Right.
Right. No, I know. He didn't do well.
Right. And why? Because he lost his equilibrium and because he's suffering from diverticulitis.
Right.
Right. Who put that curse on him? As far as Brock.
You think diverticulitis was a curse? You don't think it was a lack of roughage in his diet?
When you do 20 years of promos going, I ride with the devil, rest in peace.
Wow.
Hey, you know, here's the Kavorka on you.
So he's just sitting there putting needles in his Brock Lesnar dog gut.
In 2002,
Yeah.
The Undertaker fought a rookie, a first-year guy named Brock Lesnar, and got his ass kicked all over the ring by Brock Lesnar, including in Hell in a Cell, which is the Undertaker's match itself, and lost to Brock Lesnar.
But to be fair, Undertaker was not throwing low blows at that point in his
Oh,
career.
yes, he was. Go back.
He was kicking in the balls then?
Hey, if you watch the Hell in a Cell, I dare anybody here to watch the Hell in a Cell match. I'm sure you can watch on the WWE Network for $9.99, or just so that I'm rebelling against the system, check it out on YouTube. I'm sure it's there for free. And if you watch that Hell in a Cell match, around 18 minutes into the match, Brock Lesnar is on the top rope and he's pounding down on top of the Undertaker. And what does the Undertaker do? He doesn't immediately go for the last ride. What does he do?
Low blow.
Low blows Brock Lesnar.
And he survived, and Brock Lesnar won.
That's right, he
Well,
did.
look
And he's
at
going to win
that.
again this Sunday.
Look at that. I was watching.
You can applaud that.
He's right.
Thank you. Oh, stop. Oh, please.
I was watching your DVD last night. It's a great DVD. Are you happy with the way the DVD came out?
Yes.
You are. You seemed like you hesitated a little bit before you said
No, I
yes.
answered your question with one word.
How many people have seen the DVD?
But you said something interesting, and
How many people love the part where he fired his mom? Who does that? Who does that? He
She
hired
wasn't
his
doing the
mom
job.
and
She
then
wasn't doing the
fired her
job.
from concessions. Okay, moving on. Sorry.
But when you're trying to build a company, you need good people around you. And if your mom's not a great person at that gig, what are you going to do? I would have fired my mom too, quite frankly.
I wouldn't have.
Just out of principle.
I'd fire your mom, too, just for being a mom.
She's right there.
Is she really?
Yeah.
Where? Which one?
Wave to the
Where?
people, mother.
Hi, Mom.
You did a good job, Mom.
All right. You're going to give her a big head.
Were any of your other children successes in life?
I don't like what that question infers. But you said in the DVD, and this goes to Katie's question about, what do you do next? And you saying, I don't know, we'll see what comes next. That at one point in your life, you left wrestling, and you thought you were going to go into radio. You were ready to go into New York radio.
Yes.
And you were going to go head-to-head with Howard Stern, is that
Yes,
right?
yes.
Do you think you would have been as successful at radio as you are at wrestling?
Yes.
Okay. Let me tell you something about radio. You can't just go on the air and cut a promo for 4 hours a morning every morning. Okay, eventually people will get...
You may not be able to...
Listen to me, Paul Heyman. I am a professional broadcaster. I know the difficulty. You think you would have been better than me?
Yes.
Oh, my God. That's absurd.
Howard Stern came into New York from DC 101 and he whipped Don Imus's ass right off the radio.
Yes.
And in 1993, when I was considering going, and the station, by the way, was Hot 97. And, and you think about it now, because, first it was in the 1990s, everybody, it was Extreme. We came up with Extreme Championship Wrestling, then it was Extreme Taco Bell, Extreme Chicken McNuggets, Extreme Burger King, Extreme Toyota. Everything became Extreme in the 1990s.
Mountain Dew was awesome.
And then last year we came up, or 2 years ago, we came up with Eat, Sleep, Conquer, Repeat, and now that Eat, Sleep, Blank, Repeat is everywhere.
Did you really come up with that, or was that
No,
like a...
actually, no, and I'll give it to you. It was a Fat Boy Slim and Calvin Harris had it out for a year, and nobody gave a crap. Nobody.
That's
nobody.
right.
So then we use it on TV, and it's everywhere. So back in the 1990s, there was a move to bring me on Hot 97 in New York to go against Howard Stern in the mornings. And of course, the big thing was, wait a minute, how can you put a Jew boy on a hip hop radio station in the mornings? It makes no sense. Who is the host of Hot 97 in the mornings now?
A Jew boy.
Peter Rosenberg. Now, how did that happen? Whose idea was this?
Yeah, but Peter Rosenberg's not getting Howard Stern numbers. That's not an insult. Just look at the books.
Peter Rosenberg isn't Paul Heyman.
Ah. I see.
I'd have mopped the floor with Howard Stern.
Would you have done a hip-hop morning show, or would you have changed the format of the station?
No, I just would have talked for 4 hours.
You would have done it.
Absolutely. If you think I don't have 20 hours material in me a week, you're sorely underestimating what I have inside of me.
We were talking about the UFC moment a moment ago, but what I want to ask you is, you're an MMA fan, that's right, correct?
Yes.
What did you think of Dana White using the dreaded F word, fake, to describe wrestling? A lot of wrestling fans got very, very upset about that.
Then those are people who value Dana White's opinion on WWE or professional wrestling.
Right.
And I wouldn't give a shit what Dana White has to say. Why would you care what Dana White's assessment of what we do is? Why? Why would you care? Just like I don't think Dana White should care what I think of UFC. Why would he possibly care about what my opinion is? He's doing great in life.
Right.
Why would he care what I think? And in the same way, I don't give a damn what Dana White has to say about us. Who cares?
You're right. Paul Heyman, everybody. Paul Heyman. Now, look, I want to open this up to the audience. Would you mind taking some questions from them?
From them?
them.
Is it a respite from you? Absolutely.
All
By
right,
the way, before we start, I'm glad you dressed for the occasion.
First of all, I look cool. Okay? It's my brand. Right, Katie? Oh, she's stuck.
Katie looks hot, but Mr. Pink, hold on a second.
Oh, he had this
but
plan.
Katie,
This is ridiculous.
Not dressed. This, of course, planned.
It's a stunt.
I write my stuff out. I told you that. Mr. Pink, just throw it, Mr. Pink. Just throw it.
Okay, we got a
Just
man
throw it.
in a suit coming to the stage.
Ooh.
He's got a T-shirt. Okay, it says the words, "I'm a Paul Heyman girl."
That's
And he's given the T. You're going to upset Grumpy Cat, who's on Katie Linendoll's shirt right now.
I don't care about
Grumpy Cat got upstaged.
Hold on a
Much
minute.
better.
Mr. Pink, come here. Come here.
Okay,
Hold on
Mr.
a
Pink
minute.
is back. Paul Heyman.
Time for a little chaos. Hold on.
Oh, chaos. Not on Sam Roberts' show. We try to keep things a little more professional than that. Oh, no, it's not even. Oh, my gosh. He's throwing out freebies. All right, listen. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to break. When we come back, Corey Graves is going to rejoin us. Paul Heyman's going to be on the stage. We're going to open up questions from the audience.